So each week, or actually every other week, you need to turn in RRJ or your reading response journal letter to me. And use what you're going to do is you're going to basically have a conversation with me about what you are reading. And you're required to turn this letter in every other week, again, based on your classroom number. On even weeks, that's when even students are turning theirs in. On odd weeks, that's when odd number students are turning theirs in. Do not forget to write this in letter format. So if you look at the first letter that I attached on here, this is just my letter to you, reminding you of what you're doing. There are suggestions on here on how you can respond to me, tell me what you liked about the book, disliked about the book, write something in the book that surprised you or something that you found interesting, ask for help figuring out some sort of meaning in the book. There's lots of different things in here that you can write about. Do not go from bullet point to bullet point to bullet point, just simply answering a question. Remember, this is like having a conversation with me in your writing about your book. So let's go to the second attachment in this assignment. And this is actually where you're going to turn in your work. So this is your reading response journal. Here's some brief reminders of what you need to do. You need to write it in letter format, which means you have to have a date at the top. You have to have a greeting. You have to say hello. And then you're going to have your body, and then you're going to sign your name off by writing sincerely and then your name. So in other words, let's say today is May 11th, 2020, and then you would go down here and you would write my name, Dear Mrs. Wilkins. And then you would put a comma, and then you would write your letter here. Do not forget that when you're writing a letter, you want to make sure that the date is left or right aligned. The rest of your letter is left aligned. And so here is where you are going to have a conversation, or you would say, oops, I am reading the book. I don't know why I keep going back to The Giver, but I think it's just because I can remember it because it's an easy title. The Giver by Lois Lowry. Okay, so I want to make sure that you are actually putting in, if you look on this side, on this column over here, it says include the title of your book and author. Do not forget to italicize. So I'm going to go back here and highlight it and italicize it. And then you're going to give me a brief summary. Right now in the book, Jonas is starting to learn about color. And so that's it. You can just write one sentence to tell me about the book. Now, if you feel that you want to go into 2 or 3 sentences to summarize, that's okay. But just remember, this is not a summary of your book. This is a conversation about what you're reading. So I want 3 to 5 reflections about your reading. You can write, it was confusing to me at first that the community did not know about color. And then you can say, color is so important in my life, so I didn't think about what it would be like to have no color. So you just kind of go on, 3 to 5 reflections about that. And then as you go on, let's just pretend this is the end of my letter. Then you would write sincerely. And then I'm going to write my daughter's name, Natalie. And so this is the letter. Now, obviously, if you're writing 3 to 5 reflections, it's going to be longer. And then I will use this side over here to respond back to you. And I like to have it side by side. It's made it easier for me so that I can read your letter and then respond to your reading on that side. And it's just a really good conversation piece for me to learn about your reading, and then also for you to hear my thoughts about your book. So I look forward to reading your letter.